I am totally happy for new Star Wars games. Ever since Disney bought Star Wars from Lucas back in 2012, Star Wars games have been almost non-existent, mainly because EA had the exclusive rights to be the only one allowed to make Star Wars games for a while until the whole lawsuit thing with Battlefront 2 that almost got them canceled. But yeah, now anyone can make Star Wars games. Yippee! You'd think that'd be great, right? But even after that, there's been multiple Star Wars games in progress that have been completely canceled and put on the top shelf forever to rest in peace with Battlefront 3. Now, this brand new game we're going to be talking about was actually supposed to be released 3 years ago, near the end of 2021. So you can see why most people thought this game had reached the top shelf and was never going to come out a long time ago. This was even worse than the LEGO Skywalker saga. That game was supposed to come out in 2020 and was delayed a full 2 years until 2022. Most people, like myself, just give up hope on a game after that long. I don't know why Star Wars games have such a curse around them. This new game was announced at the start of 2021 in Nintendo Direct, which was awesome, but already a little sus that it wasn't at E3 or something you'd see console games normally get announced at. When it was first released and we only thought it was coming to Switch, that was really weird. And currently the game is available free to play on the Switch and mobile. Yup. This game with amazing graphics, online multiplayer PvP, and third-person shooter mechanics is not available on console or PC. I mean, it's definitely built for mobile gaming, mainly because of this auto-fire that happens when your reticle just goes over an enemy player. The game itself is made by a mobile game company called Zynga. You may have heard of them. They made Farmville and Words with Friends, and now a PvP Star Wars game. It does feel different from their current roster of games, and like way more effort went into development, but it fits right in with other mobile PvP free-to-play games like Mech Arena, who has been a sponsor on the channel in the past. It's literally the same thing, but with mechs, and it played really nicely. I actually loved my time playing that game. It's based on short rounds where it's usually death matches or capturing control points, but it's really fun, quick, mobile, easy to play. Star Wars Hunters is based around a galactic tournament featuring 13 new and unique Star Wars characters. Most of them try to be pretty different, which makes for cool ideas. You've got this Ugnaught engineer who pilots this modified droideka shell and rolls around the battlefield smashing into people until you deploy and pop a shield, and it plays just like a droideka should play. Some things are still a little clunky in the game. I mean, yeah, it was pushed back 3 years and largely stuck in a small beta you could play in some other countries, and it does feel like a pretty finished game overall, which is nice and refreshing compared to all the other abysmal game releases that get rushed out in a broken state. This one feels like they took their time and was just about finished with it, and I applaud them for that. But I'm sure they'll continue working on it to make it smoother and get all the kinks out, because this is definitely meant to be a long-term live service game. For anyone that has played basically the only Star Wars mobile game up until this point, Galaxy of Heroes, you know how expensive upgrading characters can be and how predatory some of these monetization practices feel, almost making you have to spend money to progress in the game. And yeah, there's gonna be people out there that spend thousands of dollars on these games each year, giving these companies exactly what they want. While 90% of the player base might be free to play, the 10% of paid players and the 5% of those that are whales or big spenders are how these games make so much money. There's a reason you see Raid Shadow Legends sponsoring every YouTuber out there. They've got that mobile game money. And while Star Wars Hunters is free to play, they have a lot of different options on how you can spend your money. The game itself is super easy to jump into and learn, but the menus are not. There's over 20 different pages in the menus to get lost in immediately just without trying, and the shop itself is 8 pages long and it just launched. It feels super overwhelming trying to familiarize yourself with where you are and trying not to buy anything accidentally. They have a battle pass that you progress through for free where you unlock something every once in a while. Lots of customization items, weapon skins, character outfits, victory poses, reaction stickers, and some profile avatars. But if you want the ability to unlock everything as you progress, you need to buy the Arena Pass for $10, which also includes a new character, arguably the one they tried to make the coolest, of course, a Mandalorian, which honestly, you can play with them in the events matchup clash where it seems to randomly assign the players characters instead of choosing, and each time there's only one Mandalorian, trying to make it exciting if you get them. And while it is fun to play with them, they don't play the best. Their blasters only work if you're standing in front of someone, and I still struggle with the controls enough to miss people every time with my flamethrower. It's like a little burp from your wrist. The special is a little better because it's more extended, but when you just have that poof, I'm not hitting surprising anyone with that. I am a little worried that if a lot more people start playing this game, more than they expected, the monetization could get more predatory and even a little more overwhelming than it already is. I was playing the Disney kart racing game Speedstorm since it was free to play, and you could play ranked races to unlock a hard to get coin you could save up and possibly buy the battle pass for each season, but it was a long hard grind, and they just recently took it away, putting almost all the new characters behind a paywall, making all your coins you worked hard for useless. And they almost caught a lawsuit over it because they were selling these coins to people so they could buy the season pass and just overnight took their ability to buy it away. They basically slithered out of it, allowing people to convert their coins to use for 2 weeks, but never again. Star Wars Hunters doesn't feel like you have to spend money to play right now, which is really nice. That's great. That's what a free-to-play game should feel like. Because I'm totally fine with monetization being there, especially when it's cosmetic and not pay to win. But I don't want it to feel like they want me to spend money in order to enjoy the game. It should always be in the background in case you want to enjoy it more with some new skins and outfits. Right now, there's a progression journey where you can grind and slowly unlock access to play with each character, except the Mandalorian. So I do wonder if that character and all season pass characters in the future will always be behind a paywall, or if they'll just wait to make all the free players wait until the season pass ends, or gives them some currency to work towards in rank to be able to buy the season pass eventually. I hope that at the very least there's always an event where you could at least get the chance to play with them, because if they continue with more season passes, I'm sure new characters will get introduced, which makes me wonder if the characters on launch are the only characters free-to-play players will ever have access to. The reason that I stopped playing the majority of mobile games that I've sank a lot of time into in my life is because over time, they get boring. I never spend money on those games. If I did, I think I'd feel even more guilty for walking away from them. I think new characters would really help keep this game alive longer, but I'm curious for how long. Speedstorm lost a lot of its player base just because the game itself was so broken. The AI are so blatantly cheating to try to get you to spend money on character upgrades that it's ridiculous. It doesn't feel like you're playing a fair game. It feels like it's rigged and you just have a chance to either win or lose. A lot of people are comparing Hunters to Overwatch, which I haven't played a lot of, but I definitely know it's similar in some regards. I would just think it's way more dumbed down or simplified version. The characters are very specifically balanced, leaving some extremely OP for close quarters, while others need to avoid people like the plague or they will get run over and trampled, while others are just plain awful. In the first day, I've played with 8 out of the 13 released characters, and I like most of them and extremely dislike one. The character is not only one of the most boring ones, just a plain human with nothing special about her, she also plays the worst. She's a support class, so there's not a lot of attacking going on, but there's also not a lot of anything going on. Support is all she is. While most people have useful secondaries, hers is just the ability to roll. And she's not even a droideka, she's not even that great at rolling. One of my favorite characters right now to play as is the Stormtrooper Sentinel. Not going to lie, this character is so cool. Loading up for a new match, his profile picture goes the hardest hands down every time. He's a leftover Stormtrooper from the Empire who walks around carrying an E-Web heavy repeater with a personal shield. And if that isn't cool enough on its own, for his special, he calls in 2 rocket troopers to come down and help blast everyone away for you. You can also melee with your gun, and you also have a stun blast that can be extremely helpful. He's one of the great middle ground characters. He's like a walking tank, but he moves way faster than a tree does. And he also has protection long enough to find cover. The sniper of the game is very reminiscent of General Coda from Force Unleashed. Diago is blind and looks exactly like Drunk Coda from the game, but instead of being a Jedi, he's a sharpshooter. His gun is great on its own, minus the year-long reload time every couple shots, but you also have proximity mines, and when your special loads up, it feels like you're shooting a cannon all of the sudden. They call them piercing rounds, but they're more like tank rounds. It's really fun to go on kill streaks with this character. The cosmetics, for the most part for me, are pretty minimal and barely noticeable, minus this one thing that is the coolest cosmetic ever. The bounty hunter character, Amara Vex, is a pretty decent character to play with on her own, but she has a Dirge skin outfit. Yes, 2003 Clone Wars Dirge. I know some of you know what I'm talking about, and this is the coolest skin to see. She gets to wear his signature helmet along with his markings all over her outfit, and it completely changes the feel of her. I have no attachment or excitement around this character whatsoever until you make it Dirge, and now it's the coolest skin in the entire game. I hope they do more skins like this. It feels closer to how the community Battlefront mods are, just reskinning characters to be other characters while they play similar, versus how all the other cosmetics in this game feel. There's also a party feature allowing you to squad up and play matches with your friends. I haven't done this yet, but I feel like it'd be pretty fun since it's very similar to Battlefront, where where if there's ever an objective-based game mode that's not just kill, 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 you either have the most well-oiled, supportive, coordinated team and you get a flawless victory, or you get stuck on the other side with your teammates running into walls and spreading out immediately, and it feels so frustrating. I know launch day was extremely populated, but sometimes I do wonder if my teammates are just really bad bots. And I am excited for this game. I do wonder what the lifetime of this game will be since it's a live service game and it's not really single player at all. I'm curious how predatory the monetization practices will feel in a year from now. I'm playing on an iPad right now just so I can see everything. Playing on the phone feels like you lose so much visual space to your big thumbs wandering all over the place and you can't see anything. I haven't played on the Switch yet, but I heard it runs really well there. I would say try this game out, especially now while it's populated and doesn't feel like you have to spend money to enjoy it yet. I mean, it's free. The biggest drawback for the game is not being on console or PC, which I don't think is gonna come anytime soon. I'm fine with it having the battle passes and paid content. I almost wish Battlefront 2 adopted this strategy so it would have lived longer, just for cosmetics and characters. But this game feels like it's happy staying on mobile. I feel like reworking the auto fire would be a big enough thing on its own where they would never do it. I'm just happy the game finally came out and didn't make friends with Force Unleashed 3 and 1313. I just want more Star Wars games, and right now I'll be happy to play this one. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll see you in the game. Peace!